I don't have, nope, I'm still wearing tights. That's what superheroes do. Kind of comfortably right up in the crotch region. Move with the team, move pretty lean. New dog drop, pull up to the scene. Bounce from assignments, I see that rhyming. I got no flavor, this is how rhyming. Yeah. I do not flex on the world, I just keep grinding. Yeah. Now I'm on nightlife, now I be flying. Now I think I got 'em, this blood haven, this not Gotham. They think I'm playing, cause they ain't watching. Now I'm bored, now they be jogging. I just keep walking, yeah. Nightwing full of fat.
Welcome to podcast number 2. I have my buddy here, the modern ninja himself, DJ Moore. So DJ, yeah, we talked a little bit before I hit the record button. You've dealt with world champions in martial arts, and you are yourself are a tricker, and you do free classes and stuff online on Instagram and TikToks, and also you do YouTube and you do your karate mart. So actually, like, I just want to ask, like, what hours go into like doing social media, doing karate mart, doing your full like 8 hours a day full-time job, plus also trying to do all the tricking and being able to get training for yourself? Like, what does that look like on the day-to-day?
Yeah, it is definitely a lot when you start to think about it. Because not only like, yeah, the YouTube and social media stuff takes time. Obviously, I have to find time for my personal training and my job, which is also training. um and then on top of that, like if I get any acting gigs or stunt gigs or things like that, I have to find time for that too. So
Mm-hmm.
it really does take a lot of dedication to go out and just make sure you're like on it, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. um Planning, yeah, it does take some planning and coordination, but honestly, more so than anything, it just takes like dedication, getting up and doing what you said to do. I am really really hard on myself when it comes to making sure I get stuff done. Probably a little bit too hard on myself, if I'm being honest with you. At least
Right.
my friends would tell you anything about that. They would tell you I was being a little too hard on myself. But it is really important to me to make sure that I not only do the things that, I say I need to do and do the things part of my job, but do them to the best that I can, right?
Right.
So just reminding myself every day, hey, get up, do this, this, and that, do this, this, and that. I have to do, this recording this day. I have to do this private lesson by this time or whatever. And so just staying like mentally driven is the hardest part and the most important part, in my opinion.
Do you find because I know with me and like having a distracted brain all the time, do you find like keeping busy all the time like keeps you engaged? Like, is it better that you're engaged all the time, or would you find it distracting if you didn't have as many things to do?
So it just kind of depends. My ADHD kind of goes in waves
Right.
where sometimes I'm feeling it and I will pump out, 3, 4 videos, or I'll do a bunch of training or whatever, right? Whatever the ADHD brain is on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the easy part. That's when it's like second nature. I'm coming off with good content, coming up with writing, whether it's writing, whether it's recording, whether it's editing, whatever it is.
Right.
That's
Oh,
the easy part.
actually, with that, do you find it how do I want to say this? You find it easier to try to like take a day, if you can, if you have the time for it, just to like sit there and just do that hyper focus, get it all done, and like that's more efficient for you versus having like 10 different things to do in one day? Or
It honestly just depends because I don't know that I've been able to master that control.
right.
Like I was saying, it's some days it's easy, like the days when I can get a bunch of stuff done at once, and other days it's just a drag just to make myself do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I'm like that's one of the things I'm still trying to figure out is finding the balance of the ADHD brain versus the I've worked too much and now I'm super drained and can't keep up kind of mentality. I oftentimes burn the candle at both ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
I've seen you do it. We've done it before together.
okay, For sure. And so you just got to make sure that you you have good discipline throughout all of it. And
Mm,
honestly, thinking about it, really, it comes down to that. Whether you're wanting to do it, whether you're not wanting to do it, once you set the goal that you set, whatever that goal is, it could be martial arts related, it could be related to corporate jobs, it could be related to the personal life.
right.
Once you set that goal, it's really, really important that you are disciplined in keeping it, whether you want to or not.
Right. This is actually, I want to bring this up too for anybody who's getting into this podcast, because like really my channel is going to be like about health and fitness mostly, but I also want to talk to like artists and martial artists and people like you who are in the, because drive, motivation, and like keeping a goal, all that stuff is the same all across the board. It doesn't matter what it is. It's all the same talk, just from different perspectives and how you handle it. So that's kind of what I want to drive is like, that's why I want to talk to different aspects of people, like talk to a motivational speaker one day, martial artist, somebody who does paintings, art, like it's all the same principles of like showing up, getting it done. And, if you have a dream, keep on driving towards it,
That's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't really hold themselves to, is I feel like a lot of people have dreams when they were a kid of wanting to be, a firefighter, or wanting to be a teacher, wanting to be whatever, right?
Yeah.
Kids dream of all the kinds of things. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a Power Ranger so bad. I wanted to be a Power Ranger. The only people that don't achieve their dreams are the people that either give up because it got too hard or stopped believing that their dream was possible.
Right.
I think it was in 2021. In 2021, I got to complete that dream. Like I literally got cast as a Power Ranger in an indie film. And no, it's not like, the biggest projects or anything like that, but literally as a child, as a 6-year-old kid, I wanted to be a Power Ranger. And that's why I started. And because of the dedication in my martial arts and in my career and in my choices, I was able to actually do that. Mm-hmm. And it had me looking at my life like, wow, I need to make a new dream now because I already did one.
Right.
But like a lot of the time I see people say, oh, that would be really cool. Oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, that would be awesome. I could never do that. And they say it in a way that automatically shuts it down, right? They say it in a way that automatically says
it's already defeatist, yeah.
Defeated before they even took the first step. And so I feel like one thing that especially adults, because I teach a lot of kids, is the adults need to hold on to the dream sometimes. I realize that life happens. You have to make some choices. You have to do things you don't necessarily want to do.
Right.
But to not have dreams, not have goals, that just means to, work on it at a slower pace. Maybe you just don't work on it as fast as you could. Maybe, you have to spend more time at your job. And so you spend less time training or less time being a writer or less time, whatever, right? You want to be a marathon runner, less time in the gym, or you find more unique ways of doing those things or training those things. Maybe you have to be a little creative. You want to be a marathon runner and you have to work a 9 to 5, then you might need to get a treadmill or, run in the same location.
Right.
You might have to work around it. But keeping that dream and not just being like, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it next week. Maybe next year. That is a constant of it never happening, and you don't want to get to that point.
Right. I know one of your, I guess, your list of dreams. I know we've talked about this before, like at length, about, we had a whole conversation that we kind of realized that like there are really no action heroes right now. Like there's no Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. They're all like out of style, out of phase. We have like actors who do action movies, but not like a martial artist person to look up to. We have nobody that. And then I know one of your
is what it is.
Oh, what was that?
I was saying the only ones are getting older, and not to be disrespectful, they just
are.
Yeah,
and I know one of your big heroes was Michael Jai White. And I know that we went at length that, even if you don't become the next star, you want to at least inspire somebody else to be that next person. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
In fact, the reason I started like social media with Modern Ninja, the original goal before it even had the name Modern Ninja
Mhm.
was just like show people cool things. Show you can do that. You might have
Mhm.
to tweet it because murder is frowned upon, but
Well, yeah.
but you can do those things. You can take that step. I wanted to have a a, 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 a platform where I could like teach people those things, help people, and in turn, I wanted to be able to help people in the way that martial arts has helped me, and kind of pass that on. And so I feel like
Right.
that kind of my job, my duty to do, to pay back the instructors that did that for me, right? And so
Mhm.
that's how it started. And then it changed, and didn't really change. It just kind of morphed and migrated through the times. It became on TikTok. It became uh, more tutorials, and then it changed the fight scenes, and it's migrated over time. And it
Mhm.
still, I'm a person that likes to learn and do different things. But the goal has still always been the same: just give people a way to do things that I've loved doing this entire time. And
Yeah.
that's why I do a lot of tutorials and stuff that is free. I do obviously offer private lessons and things like that for free.
Right.
And that's one purpose, so that people can grow on their own without needing to buy some like $200 a month
Course. Yeah.
class, or this giant membership, or these expensive gear package. No, you could just go in your backyard, grab a stick that's kind of straight, and do some photo stuff. And if you want to buy stuff, I have links and stuff to help you do and get the things you want to do, but you don't have to. And that's kind of my point with my channel.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to do too, because like several months ago there was like the Clean Health Expo for like fitness and health and everything. Now, granted, it was in Australia, and I wasn't going to fly to Australia anyway, but tickets were $650 for a single day. And there's a 3-day event, and it's just like these health and fitness expos, or like even trying to do like a business seminar or anything. These things are stupid expensive. Not to mention
Oh
if
yeah,
it's far, not to mention if it's far away and it's in a hotel, and then you got to pay for hotel and travel, and it's just insane. I think it's really beneficial to people, especially people who are just kind of like, walking around in the dark, don't even know where to start,
yeah.
you know?
And that's
Um,
one of the things like I was talking about. So I recently built a competition team from start to finish at this school.
mhm,
And I structured it in a way that kind of allowed the kids to not jump in too deep. But
mhm.
one of the tournaments that they went to, by far, right? It's one of the top tournaments in the U.S. And there are like sponsored level athletes out there. They're professional level athletes. And if someone goes to something like that, one, they're gonna spend like 2 grand for the weekend, right? At least minimum, right?
Right.
Because you got flight, you got to buy your hotel, your competition. Like if you need any competition gear, your bow staff, your weapons that you're gonna use, the safety gear and equipment that you're gonna use, the food while you're out there, the spectator passes for family and friends, like all that
Mhm.
stuff. It costs money. It's hard to do, and when you get there, you're gonna feel like you are so far behind everyone else. When in reality, no, you're just not at that stage in your journey, and that turns a lot of people off. And so, one of the things that I think is important is being able to just kind of have that entry point, have that beginner. That's why one of the bigger things that I do on my own YouTube channel is I call them fight likes. They're fight like a superheroes, to learning how to do the moves of Batman, breaks them down into like what styles you would have to train and teaches you a little combination that they do in the movies or the show or whatever. Something that is easy and simple to understand relatively, and that you can do for no money in your backyard with a stick if you need to, like with anything. And so I find it really, really important to give people that entry level, because if you don't have it and you jump in, that might be the thing that turns people completely away from whatever their dream was.
Right, right. Uh, Speaking of like putting people in the entry level, and also, doing any skill, especially martial arts, it takes hundreds of hours, takes years of practice. The one thing I want to ask, like, which a lot of people probably wonder from your channel too, like I know you used to do regular bow staff, and then several months ago, I know you had a seminar with Reed Presley, and then you ended up starting doing dual bow staff a lot lately. And so my question is, how long do you typically practice a move until you feel it is good, and then you actually record it? And then second question to that, on average, how many takes does it take to actually get it right?
So that's an interesting question. That is a very interesting, and I kind of have a equally interesting answer. So I've been training in martial arts a really long time. I've been training in martial arts for, it was 22 years in May, right?
Mhm.
Literally, I've been in the competition circuit since I was a child. Like since I was like 10, 11 years old, I've been in different competition circuits, competing with different people, learning different styles in that world. And so, uh, currently, right, I've been doing weapons since I got my first bow staff in 2007.
Right.
So I've been doing weapons in some way or another for
15-ish.
last 15-ish years. I bow staff, kamas, sword, tricking with sais like Raphael, doing double bow staff. Like I remember when Reed first started doing double bow staff back in the day, and trying double bow staff back in the day. And so because I have so many years practicing that, and because I have so much of a history practicing that, it normally doesn't really take me a ton of time now per take, if that makes sense. There are some tricks where I'm like learning them for the first time or inventing them for the first time where I've never done it before, and I do something, I'm like, huh, I wonder if I could do this and toss it this way and catch it behind my back this way or whatever. And I'll try it. And it might take me, 5, maybe 10 takes of getting that trick down. But it doesn't take me a super long amount of time for most of the takes. However, that does not mean they're easy to do. I've been training for a long time. A lot of these things I'm only able to do relatively quickly now because I spent hours and hours at my school as a kid. Like I'm not talking, oh, I'll go to class, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. No, I was homeschooled. I was at my studio, at my school when it opened, and I was the last one to be there when it closed. I literally was there all day, every day, as many times as they were open.
Yeah,
Right.
I vibe with that too, because like I started when I was 7. I've been doing this for 27 years now, and I was that kid too. Like my dad would help teach and stuff too. So basically, I'd be there for 4 classes a day, 5 days a week, 20 classes a week. Like, yeah,
And that was my life. And it has been this whole time. I've always, like, when I moved away from home, I was teaching classes and training like that. When for the years after, the first 5 years I was out of my parents' house, I was training like that. Then I moved to Texas, which is relatively closer to them, and I'm still doing that. It's been that way forever. And so when people ask, "Oh, you make it look easy," well, maybe, but that's because it was hard 10 years ago. It was hard then. It was hard when I learned it for the first time.
right.
And it really does. There's some tricks that these kids that are learning it now get almost immediately that took me months to get. It is what it is. But even though it did take me months to get, I spent those months like getting it. I spent training martial arts in my backyard every chance I got. Every chance I got. And
Yeah.
so
No, I love that. So I guess my question is kind of dialing into the question earlier. So would you say like if you're learning a new trick, does it take you like a day, a couple of days, and then maybe you'll shoot it within the next week that you learn it? Or
usually if if I'm getting into specifics, right? If I decide to, if I'm like playing my weapon and I find a cool trick that I want to try, I did this a little bit ago actually. I saw a video where this person kicked a bottle, the top flew off, and then they kicked the top out of the air. And I was like, oh, I could do that. So I grab my bow staff, I go out, I set a bottle, an empty bottle on the table or whatever, and I hit it, and I'm like, oh, I missed, but I can do that. I know I can do it. I keep trying. I try it, and I get the take within the next, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. So maybe that was 20, 25 tries.
right.
Depending on how, and depending on like what the combo is or what the trick is, how long it takes to set it up. There's some that take me, 5-10 minutes. There's some that take me 30 minutes, and there's some that I get on the first try. That's not often, but there's some that I get on the first try. So really just
I just kind of wanted to get a little kind of reveal the behind the curtain there for a minute, because especially like a lot of these the tricking guys and the tricking videos and everything, and these like once in a million lifetime shots, like they might be out there for hours to get that one shot, like, and people don't realize how much work goes into it.
Well, that's the thing. What I think people don't realize is, as far as the work that goes, it's not just when you got it's like when an artist, martial artist, a dancer, when they get an idea to do something, right? Sure, that specific thing may not have taken forever, and that's true. But the years it took for them to get to that point did, right? And so, sure, if I do like, I have nunchucks right here, actually. If I were to do a hand roll, right, I could do that first try, no problem. But that's because I spent the last 10 years practicing hand rolls consistently, right? So sure, that hand roll might have taken no time, but that doesn't mean it didn't take any effort.
Right.
It might not have effort today, but the effort was put in. And that's the biggest thing a lot of people miss, is that even if it seems easy, it seems like it doesn't take any effort for them now, that's because it took all the effort from them earlier.
Right. I totally get that, because like lately in the past year, I've tried to do like more calisthenic stuff, and I've been doing handstands and like human flags and stuff. And the thing is, people are like, oh, well, you're picking it up, pretty quickly if you've only been doing it for that long. It's like, yeah, but I've also like been training and my core is strong. I've been doing martial arts and I have great balance, and like all that stuff like compounds into picking this stuff up easier now.
Yep. It all adds up. It really does. And it's when people, I don't know, when people ask, oh, that, like, when people say, oh, I bet that took forever. I'm like, yeah, it did. Maybe not that day.
Right.
But like, it's taken my entire life to get to this point that I'm at. The reason I make it look easy, the reason it can look the way it looks, is because I was putting in all the work for the years beforehand, for the 22 or 23 years beforehand.
Right. Well, let's talk about so your social media presence and everything. And I know you were on a voting thing for the Karate Mart, and you kind of landed the Karate Mart thing. How was like what's up with Karate Mart? Can you explain that to some people who don't know what it is?
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Karate Mart is a weapons company that sells all kinds of different weapons, from knives to ballistic darts to swords, spears, literally tasers, literally anything. Twin hook swords, brass knuckles with spikes on it, a knife, like they have all kinds of things. And they have a YouTube channel called Karate Mart. No, crazy. Who would have thought? But they have a YouTube channel where they talk about the different weapons and showcase the different weapons that they have. And a while ago, maybe a couple months ago, they had a contest to see who could take over as host, because the original host was getting to the end of what they were able to do. They were ready to put down the mantle of hosting the show. He's still with the company. He actually runs the company, but he was, he's ready to move on and give that to someone else. And so they had a contest to see who could do the best reviews for them. I entered. I had a bunch of help with all the people that supported me and watched and liked my videos and went and voted for me. But I was able to make it through the stages of the contest and ultimately win the position, which is really great. And they've been really cool people to work with. They always try to send me like random stuff. Like they send me stuff that makes me think they're just trying to get me to go on like a weapons spree. I don't know. They're trying to get me on some FBI most wanted list or something.
Right.
But it's honestly one of the most fun jobs I've had, because I get to like go light pumpkins on fire and cut them in half, or go take a slingshot and blow up some soda cans. Right, you get to do all kinds of things with them, and it's just really fun doing that.
Right. So let's talk about, do you have a competition coming up soon that you're going to be competing in?
Actually, yeah, there's oh my gosh, the name escapes me, but in the Pro Max circuit, I'm this year I'm doing all of the Texas tournaments in the Pro Max circuit right now because I live in Texas. And next year I plan on doing a little bit more in the Pro Max circuit, but that's just like a national competition circuit. It's just like saying the UFC or the NFL, right? It's just that, but for martial arts. And there's a big one coming up, and I actually just started on my new training like program that I'm putting myself through for it, just working literally every day, getting my so
Oh
I
man.
like it's a friendly competition. It's fun to try and level up, show them the next thing, and go back and forth. It makes everyone better at the end of the day.
Right. I do want to talk about also that real quick too, is people, I guess they don't understand, especially with martial arts, it's not as respected as it was, back in the day. And I kind of want to let people know it's like the ceiling of skill is stupid high. We actually talked about this earlier this morning in our meeting at work. We were talking about, so my boss wants to, where we do padded stick sparring, and now what he wants to do is every belt cycle. So we'll do weapon, padded stick, weapon, padded stick, weapon, and we switch between sword, nunchucks. But he wants to add more padded sticks, so every other cycle. And we started discussing it, and we started realizing it's actually really a good idea because the skills transfer better for like the rest of the martial arts and stuff. But I was explaining to one of the other workers, and she's young and she hasn't been in the industry for very long time. But I was explaining to her, it's like, yeah, the reason why kids aren't super interested in weapons typically, and like it's a very low count of them. It's most of the time, unless you happen to have a good program and you've got a great one over at your studio, but most of the time it's not super profitable, and a lot of kids don't want to be that good. They're just not the interest there. And so it's, 1 in 1,000 there. And then on top of that, the ceiling of the skill level is ridiculous. Those guys at the top is just insane. So how do you keep up with that all the time?
So in my experience, a lot of kids will say they don't like weapons, and I don't think that's true. Simply because I don't think kids like effective weapon work, because there's definitely a difference between tricking and combat skills, right? Some can cross over. There are some crossovers, but for the most part, combat skills are here, and then tricking can kind of branch off, and you can do cool stuff, but it's not necessarily the same. When, in my experience, kids don't like weapons, it's because they don't like the combat skills associated with it. They don't see the benefit in learning self-defense. They see the cool stuff and want to do the things that, Nightwing and Robin did, because that was pretty cool, but they don't see the simple nuances of knife defense or gun work or anything like that, and they don't really like it as much, at least in the beginning stages, right? Until they get higher rank and older in age. But when it comes to weapon tricks, I see a lot of kids and people gravitate to it because, like, I don't know, every kid has that little dream in there somewhere where they want to be some kind of superhero, whether that's like Batman and Robin, whether that's because the new Captain America movie, whether that's for whatever reason, right? That's in there. The Ninja Turtles, that's always been around since before I was born. Like, that's always been there somewhere in the kid's subconscious. And so the reason that I got into it was that drive. And because I got into the age that I did and was able to train it the way that I did, it never really left. I was always like, hey, this would be cool. Oh, I'd look like a Power Ranger if I did this. Oh, this is like what the ninjas are like. That never really left. It may show up differently as I grow up, right? It may be more along the lines of looking cool. It may be along the lines of self-defense as I grow older and gain more appreciation for combat style weapons. But in my experience, the thing that gravitates anyone to weapons, especially at a young age, is that cool factor, is that, ooh, I can do this and look like a BAMF while doing it, essentially.
Right. So, but well, also what I was getting to is like these people at the top, these world champions and everything. Like, how many hours a day do you think these guys, especially these sponsored guys, it's almost their job. So, yeah. So, like, what do you think that looks like? I mean, you've met a lot of them, so.
Yeah, I do, and for a lot of them, it's their job. They treat it like a job, even if it's not. Many of the kids, many at that level are homeschooled and spend all of their time with martial arts and learning under different private lessons or private instructors, going and traveling for different seminars. Like, people pay to like fly out to go to this camp out there in LA, or learn under that person in New York, or train with this guy in Wisconsin, or anywhere, right? People spend that's their life. Like, that's just it is what it is. And I'm not saying that other people, like, there's always different levels at every competition you'll get to. Some people won't train as much as others, and some people will train insanely high. It just is what it is at competitions. That's just the nature of it. But to get to that, like, top tier, that top echelon, that's what they do. Like, they go to school and train. They eat and train. If they're adults, usually they spent their childhood going to school and training. And then as an adult, they're going to a job and training. Like, that's just what they do. If it's not already their job at point blank, because for some of them it is.
Right. That's the same thing. Like, a lot of people look at these, like, bodybuilders and fitness influencers. And, if you're looking into martial arts or an action star who's doing flips over a table or something, like, they don't realize, like, how many hours you really have to put in to do all that. But no, I'm glad that's kind of why I wanted to, like I said, talk to different people at different avenues, because really it's all the same thing. It's all what you put in is what you get out. And I know that you're super hardworking. I've seen you basically kill yourself. You're zombified out, drinking your like sixth cup of coffee, just still going. I gotta do one more video. So I see there. But we just got actually just a couple minutes left. So can you actually go ahead? Any of your affiliates, Karate Mart, your links, where they can find you, all that stuff. Let's do that.
Yeah. I am Modern Ninja on everything. On Instagram, it's Modern Ninja 232. On TikTok, it's Modern Ninja Official, and on YouTube, it's the Modern Ninja. But you could literally find me on everything. I have a link tree on all my pages. If you are looking into getting started with weapon tricks. You could definitely check out some of my videos to see if it's something you're interested in. See if you could follow some of the tutorials. If you want a little bit more help, I do offer private lessons both in person and on Zoom, because I know obviously not everyone lives in the Dallas area. It just is what it is. So I do offer private lessons on Zoom for weapon tricks and things like that, and kicking and things like that. And if you're looking to get a new weapon, I work very closely with both Karate Mart as far as the tactical type of weapons, and if you're looking into the tricking stuff, I work very closely with Century Martial Arts, and you can even use the discount code Ninja10, NINJA10 for 10% off, and it'll also help me out as well. So there's that.
Awesome. Any video projects coming? Any films that you got coming up soon?
Yeah, I'm actually working on a inspired project, a Assassin's Creed inspired film very soon that's going to take samurai and ninja and thrust it into a modern time with modern style, almost Iron Man-esque samurai armor with ninja fighting, and it's going to be martial arts heavy, obviously. And I'm really looking forward to it. So that's in the works right now.
Oh, awesome. I know what you're talking about. And like, I know you've been trying to do that project for a long time. Definitely call me up when you need people for that. I'm definitely down for helping out. But yeah, thank you, man. This has been fun. Again, this is DJ Moore, the Modern Ninja. Check out all of his links. I'll have the links and everything in the description and bio for you and all your affiliates. And of course, send me any links that you need. I'll go ahead and post it for you and everything. But this was fun. Let's do it again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.